what I want to do is go now to the actual blessings that Balaam comes up with. And what I want you to see in the three blessings is these are the three Feasts of Ascent. What are the three Feasts of Ascent? Unleavened bread, Shavuot, and Sukkot. So what each of these blessings does is talks about one of those feasts. So let's look at the first one, and I'm now down to Numbers 23:7. From Aram, Balak has brought me, the king of Moab from the eastern mountains. Come curse Jacob for me, and come denounce Israel. All right, so there's this setup. How can I curse whom God has not cursed? So what he's saying here goes back to our original discussion of I am a valve, or I'm a switch. And if there isn't anything up there for me to work with, then I can't do anything. That's essentially what he's saying. So verse 8, how can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the crags I see him, from the hills I behold him. Behold, a people dwelling alone and not counting itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, or number a fourth part of Israel? Let me die the death of the upright, let my end be like his. Now going back to a people dwelling alone and not counting itself among the nations. When did that happen? In the Exodus. God took Israel out of the national system. You are not one of the 70 nations, you are mine. And so I took you out, and you are not counted among the people, and you are not counted among the nations. You dwell alone. So that's Passover unleavened bread. So now we get down to the second one. And actually I'm going to skip the second one, and I'm going to come back to it, because I want to go to the third one first, because the third one is more clear. And then when I come back to the second one will be more clear in light of the third. So I'm now down to chapter 24, verse 3. And he took up his discourse and said, the oracle of Balaam, the son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eye is opened, the oracle of him who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty, falling down with his eyes uncovered. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your encampments, O Israel. Notice we have Jacob and Israel there. Like palm groves that stretch afar, like gardens beside a river, like aloes that the Lord has planted, like cedar trees beside the waters. Water shall flow from his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt, and is for him like horns of the wild ox. And he shall eat up the nations, his adversaries, and shall break their bones in pieces, and pierce them through with his arrows. He crouched, he lay down like a lion, and like a lioness who will rouse him up. Blessed are those who bless you, and cursed are those who curse you. And notice the blessed are those who bless you, and the curse those who curse you is the promise given to Abraham. But now look at the elements of this. Sukkot, tents. So how lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your encampments, O Israel. And Jacob and Israel is both secular and spiritual. So when Israel is called Jacob, he's acting in a secular sense. When he's called Israel, he's acting in a spiritual sense. So both secular and spiritual and tents. Now what is the main ceremony at Sukkot? The water pouring. Water shall flow from his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. What are the 70 sacrifices for at Sukkot? The nations. Notice that it says then, God brings him out of Egypt, and for him, like the horns of a wild ox, he shall eat up the nations, his adversaries, and break their bones in pieces and pierce them through with his arrows. So he has beautiful tents, both physical and spiritual. You have living water flowing from him, and he in fact will eventually dominate the nations. That's Sukkot. So this third oracle then is Sukkot. So we have Passover here, we have Sukkot. So what's in between? Shavuot. And Shavuot's a little harder to see, which is why I wanted to do the two obvious ones first. So now let's go back up to the second one. 23:18. And Balaam took up his discourse and said, Rise, Balak, and hear. Give ear to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. He has said, and will he not do it? Or he has spoken, and will he not fulfill it? Behold, I received a command to bless. He is blessed, and I cannot revoke it. He has not beheld misfortune in Jacob, nor has he seen trouble in Israel. And oh, by the way, that's why I can't do anything. So remember again, going back to our talk about a prophet being a valve, what he is saying here is physically and spiritually, Jacob and Israel, God has not seen trouble. Therefore, there's nothing in the heavenly for me to work with. I cannot curse. The Lord their God is with them, and the shout of a king is among them. God brings them out of Egypt, and is for them like the horns of the wild ox. For there is no enchantment against Jacob, no divination against Israel. Now it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, what has God wrought? Behold, a people, as a lion as it rises up, and as a lion it lifts itself. It does not lie down until it has devoured the prey and drunk the blood of the slain. The part that I am suggesting to you is Shavuot, is right in the middle of verse 21. The Lord their God is with them, and the shout of a king is among them. So what happens at Shavuot? The giving of the Torah, and who gave the Torah? God did. Did God stand in the midst of the people when he gave the Torah? Yeah, he was up on a mountain, but he was in the midst of the people. And the giving of the Holy Spirit, everybody was gathered at Shavuot, and the Holy Spirit, God, came down among them. The shout of the king. As I say, the middle one is a little bit harder to see, but when you see the bookends, that you have unleavened bread, Passover at the top, and you have Sukkot at the bottom, then the only one left is Shavuot, and then when you pick through it, you can actually see it, if you're looking for it.